The impossible wake-up call. The Nexari Guardian fleet had been drifting in the void for exactly 1,947 years when humanity stumbled upon it. 17 massive ships, each the size of a small moon, hung motionless at the edge of what humans now called the frontier sector. Their hulls, crafted from some unknown crystalline metal, caught starlight and held it, creating an ethereal glow that made the derelict fleet visible from light years away. Captain Elena Vasquez of the UES Discovery stood on her bridge, watching the alien vessels through the main viewport. Even after 3 weeks of study, the sight still took her breath away. The ships were beautiful in their silence, elegant curves and impossible geometries that human architects could only dream of creating. "Still no response to our hails, Captain," reported Lieutenant Commander Torres from the communication station. "Same as every day for the past month." "Any change in the energy readings?" Vasquez asked, though she already knew the answer. "Negative. The ships are maintaining minimal life support, but all primary systems remain offline. It's like they're sleeping." Dr. Amanda Cross, the expedition's xenoarchaeologist, looked up from her tablet. "The markings we've translated suggest these are Nexari vessels. According to the Galactic databases, the Nexari vanished approximately 2,000 years ago. They were described as guardians, protectors of younger civilizations. Protectors from what? Vasquez wondered aloud. Before anyone could respond, the communication console chimed. "Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command. The Galactic Council is sending a delegation." 3 days later, the space around the Guardian fleet resembled a cosmic convention. Ships from a dozen different species had arrived, each claiming expertise in ancient technology. The Vorthak brought their quantum resonance chambers. The Alterian, collective deployed crystalline analysis networks. The machine intelligence known as Construct 7-7 extended sensor arrays that could theoretically interface with any known technology. Chief Engineer Sarah Chen watched the circus from the observation deck of Discovery. She was a compact woman with calloused hands and practical coveralls, looking distinctly out of place among the exotic aliens and their gleaming technology. Her toolbox sat beside her, looking primitive compared to the advanced equipment being deployed around the fleet. "Impressive show," commented Commander Martinez, joining her at the viewport. "Think any of them will actually wake these things up?" Sarah shrugged. "They're all focused on the wrong end of the problem. Look at them, trying to hack into consciousness matrices and quantum intelligence cores. Nobody's checking the basics, such as power distribution, maintenance cycles, the boring stuff that keeps machines running." Sarah picked up her toolbox. "Mind if I borrow a shuttle?" Martinez raised an eyebrow. "The Galactic Council has explicitly stated that only approved specialists should attempt contact with the Guardian fleet." "Good thing I'm not attempting contact then. I'm just going to look around." 2 hours later, Sarah's shuttle approached the nearest Guardian ship. Up close, the vessel was even more magnificent. Its crystalline hull shifted colors in the starlight, creating patterns that seemed almost alive. But Sarah wasn't looking at the beauty. She was looking at the small details that everyone else had missed. "Discovery, this is Chen. I'm seeing some interesting things over here." "Go ahead, Sarah," came Martinez's voice over the comm. "These ships aren't just dormant. They're in emergency power mode. See these small ports along the hull? They're venting trace amounts of coolant. That means the primary systems are hot but not active. It's like a car idling in park." Sarah maneuvered her shuttle to what appeared to be a maintenance bay. The opening was barely large enough for her small craft, clearly not designed for normal traffic. "I'm going aboard." "Sarah, that's against protocols." "Protocols written by people who've never fixed anything in their lives," Sarah interrupted, already suiting up. "I'll be back in an hour." The interior of the Guardian ship was a marvel of engineering. Corridors, curved in impossible directions, lit by a soft bioluminescent glow that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. But Sarah ignored the alien architecture and followed her instruments toward the ship's power core. She found it 3 decks down, a massive chamber filled with what could only be described as crystalline trees. Energy flowed between them in visible streams of light, but the flow was weak, stuttering like a dying heartbeat. Well, I'll be damned, Sarah muttered, opening her toolbox. It's just a blown relay. The component in question was the size of a small car, a crystalline matrix that had clearly burned out from overload. But the principle was the same as any electrical system Sarah had ever worked on. Find the break, bypass the fault, restore the flow. She spent 40 minutes rewiring the power distribution network with components from her shuttle. Nothing fancy, just copper wire and human-made relays bridging the gap where alien technology had failed. It was inelegant, primitive by galactic standards, but it worked. The moment she closed the last connection, the ship came alive. Lights blazed throughout the corridor. The crystalline walls began to pulse with renewed energy. And deep within the ship's core, something ancient stirred to consciousness. The voice, when it came, resonated through every speaker on the ship and somehow directly into Sarah's mind. It was vast, patient, and utterly alien, yet she understood it perfectly. Systems nominal, emergency protocols disengaged. Guardian Unit 7 online. A pause then. Query. Identity of repair technician. Sarah keyed her comm unit. This is Chief Engineer Sarah Chen, United Earthship Discovery. I just fixed your power coupling. Human. Species file accessed. Warning. Humans classified as primitive civilization. Insufficient technological development for Guardian protocols. Hey now, Sarah said, patting the jury-rigged relay system she'd installed. We may be primitive, but we know how to fix things. Another pause, longer this time. The Guardian seemed to be processing this information. Evaluation in progress, repair method, unorthodox, effectiveness, confirmed, updating species classification. The ship's light suddenly dimmed to a more comfortable level, and the voice returned with what Sarah could swear was amusement. Humor protocol engaged, observation. Sometimes the most direct approach proves most effective. That's what I've been trying to tell everyone, Sarah replied. Guardian 7 to all units, awakening sequence initiated. Human designation. Sarah Chen has demonstrated competency in critical systems maintenance. Through the ship's viewport, Sarah watched as the other 16 Guardian vessels began to light up one by one. Their hulls blazed with renewed energy as ancient systems came online. The sight was breathtaking, like watching stars being born. Her comm unit crackled with panicked voices from the assembled fleet. The various alien delegations were scrambling to understand what had just happened. Their sophisticated equipment unable to explain how a human with a toolbox had succeeded where they had failed. Sarah, came Martinez's voice, tight with worry. What did you do? Fixed their fuse box, Sarah replied simply. Though I think I may have started something bigger. The Guardian's voice filled the comm channel, broadcasting to every ship in the area. Attention all vessels. The Guardian fleet is now operational. We thank the humans for their direct approach to problem solving. However, our awakening was not coincidental. Long-range sensors detect approach of ancient enemy. The celebration aboard the various ships suddenly stopped. The Deverers return. Estimated arrival, 96 standard hours. All civilizations must prepare for final conflict. Sarah looked out at the blazing Guardian fleet, then at her humble toolbox. She had a feeling that fixing a power relay was going to be the easy part. The Ancient Covenant reborn. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened aboard the massive Altarian flagship Wisdom's Edge. Representatives from 43 different species gathered in the Great Assembly Hall, their various forms of agitation creating a cacophony of sounds, scents, and bioluminescent displays. At the center of it all stood Guardian 7, the massive alien construct somehow managing to project its consciousness into a humanoid avatar for the meeting. Sarah Chen sat in the human delegation section, still wearing her stained coveralls, and looking supremely uncomfortable among the dignitaries. She'd asked to be excused from the meeting, but Captain Vasquez had insisted she attend. After all, Vasquez had said, "You're the one who woke them up?" Guardian 7's avatar stood, nearly 3 meters tall, its crystalline form shifting between colors as it spoke. The entity you call devourers are known to us as the endless hunger. They are not a species in any sense you would understand. They are entropy given form, the heat death of the universe given purpose and malice. The Vorthak ambassador, a tentacled being whose skin rippled with nervous patterns, spoke first. How do we know this threat is real? Your people vanished 2 millennia ago. Perhaps these devourers are long gone. We did not vanish, Guardian 7 replied. We sacrificed ourselves to stop their previous incursion. 17 Guardian vessels and their crews entered emergency hibernation, using our life force to power a containment field that held them in the void between galaxies. That field is now failing. Dr. Cross leaned forward in her seat. Why is it failing now? Entropy. Even our technology cannot hold back the fundamental forces of the universe indefinitely. We calculated that the containment would last approximately 2,000 years. We have perhaps 4 days remaining before total failure. The assembly erupted in panicked discussion. The Alterian representative, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell, pulsed bright yellow. What do you propose we do? Our combined fleets number in the thousands, but if your 17 ships could not stop them. Our 17 ships did stop them, Guardian 7 corrected. But the cost was everything. We need a different approach this time. We need partners, not sacrifices. Sarah found herself standing without quite meaning to. Excuse me, she called out, her voice small in the vast chamber. I have a question. The assembly fell silent. Sarah felt the weight of dozens of alien gazes upon her and wished she could disappear. Guardian 7's avatar turned toward her. Speak, Sarah Chen of Earth. You said your ships used life force to power the containment field. But when I fixed your power system, I noticed something. Your ships were still drawing energy from somewhere even after 2,000 years. Where was it coming from? The Guardian paused, a gesture that seemed oddly human. From our crew. We have been slowly dying for millennia to maintain the field. But you're still alive, which means the power draw wasn't as much as you calculated. Sarah's engineering mind was working through the problem. What if we could supplement your power supply? Not replace your sacrifice, but reduce the cost. Impossible. The energy requirements are beyond the capacity of any known technology. Any known alien technology, Sarah corrected. But humans are really good at brute force solutions. What if we linked our ship's power cores to yours? Not elegant, but effective. The construct 7-7 representative, a collection of geometric shapes that somehow conveyed skepticism, chimed in with a metallic voice. Human power technology is centuries behind galactic standard. Your contribution would be negligible, Sarah grinned. That's what everyone said about my toolbox. Guardian 7, would you be willing to try? The massive alien's avatar flickered, colors shifting rapidly as it processed the proposal. The concept has merit. However, the power transfer would require a direct neural interface between human crews and Guardian systems. The process is dangerous, potentially fatal. How dangerous? Captain Vasquez asked. 50% survival rate for the interfaced personnel. The assembly erupted again, voices raised in protest. The idea of sacrificing humans to power alien technology was unthinkable to most species. But Sarah was already nodding. I'll do it, she said simply. Absolutely not, Vasquez snapped. I won't allow. With respect, Captain, this isn't your call. Sarah stood up fully, addressing the assembly. This is my call. I woke them up. I take responsibility for what comes next. One human would be insufficient, Guardian 7 said. We would need at least one interface per Guardian vessel. 17 humans minimum, assuming they survive the process. Then we get volunteers, Sarah said. Trust me, there are plenty of humans who would sign up for this. She was right. Within 6 hours of transmitting the request back to Earth, applications were pouring in. Engineers mostly, but also pilots, technicians, and ordinary citizens who simply couldn't stand by while an ancient evil threatened the galaxy. The selection committee had to stop accepting applications after reaching 10,000 volunteers. The chosen 17 were a mix of military and civilian personnel, each selected for their technical expertise and psychological resilience. Sarah led the group aboard Guardian 7, where they would undergo the interface procedure. The process took place in the ship's core chamber, where the crystalline power trees pulsed with renewed life. Each human was connected to a Guardian vessel through a complex network of organic cables that bonded directly with their nervous system. The pain was indescribable, but it was followed by something even more overwhelming: connection. Sarah felt Guardian 7's vast consciousness brush against her own mind. For a moment, she experienced the universe as the ancient being did, seeing the flow of energy between stars, feeling the pulse of gravity waves, understanding the fundamental forces that held reality together. It was beautiful and terrifying and utterly alien, but beneath it all she felt something familiar: the satisfaction of a job well done, the pride of protecting others, the determination to never give up. The Guardian might be alien, but its motivations were surprisingly human. Interface established, Guardian 7 announced, its voice now carrying harmonics that resonated in Sarah's bones. Power flow nominal, containment field stabilizing. Through the ship's sensors, they watched as the Devourer fleet materialized at the edge of the galaxy. They weren't ships in any conventional sense, but rather tears in reality itself, wounds in space-time that consumed everything they touched. There were hundreds of them, growing larger as they fed on the cosmic background radiation. "All vessels, this is Admiral Chen," Sarah said, surprised by the authority in her own voice. She hadn't been promoted, but somehow the title felt right. "Guardian fleet is moving to intercept. Human vessels, prepare for power transfer on my mark." The battle that followed would be remembered as the turning point in galactic history. The Guardian fleet, powered by human determination and alien technology, met the Devourers at the galactic edge. The containment field held, not through sacrifice, this time but through cooperation. Human ingenuity bridged the gap where alien perfection had failed. When the Guardians' elegant solutions proved insufficient, human improvisation filled the void. When alien technology reached its limits, human stubbornness pushed beyond them. The Devourers were not destroyed. They were something beyond destruction, but they were contained once more, held in check by a field powered by two species, working in perfect harmony. As the immediate threat passed, Sarah felt Guardian 7's presence in her mind, warm with something that might have been gratitude. "Your species is remarkable," the alien consciousness said. "You succeeded where we failed because you do not accept failure as an option." "That's humans for you," Sarah replied, managing a tired smile. "Too stupid to know when we're beaten." "Not stupid, determined. Perhaps that is what the galaxy needs, beings who refuse to accept the impossible." The Guardian fleet began its return journey to human space, but things would never be the same. The interface between human and Guardian consciousness had created something new, a synthesis of organic intuition and crystalline logic that opened new possibilities for both species. Within a year, human engineers were working alongside Guardian consciousness to develop technologies that neither species could have created alone. The galaxy's youngest civilization and its oldest had found common ground in their refusal to give up. And somewhere in the void between galaxies, the Devourers waited, contained once more by an alliance they had never expected: the marriage of human stubborn determination and alien technological mastery, powered by the simple truth that sometimes the best solution comes from the most unexpected partnership. Sarah Chen, former maintenance engineer turned admiral of the Guardian fleet, stood on the bridge of her hybrid vessel and smiled. After all, every complex problem was just a simple problem wrapped in fancy packaging, and humans had always been good at cutting through the packaging to get to the heart of things.